And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, R. Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, Sunday, July 17th. It's the weekend. It has been hot. It is rainy around here. How are you today, my friend? Always good to see you.
Always great to see you, Brad. I am doing well. Thank you, as always, for asking. Yeah, a lot of weather happening, man. It's hot, all caps, but we are in the thick of monsoon season. There was a downpour, if you will, over the last 48 hours here in the Phoenix area. Nice. Same for you and Marana?
Yeah, not yesterday, 2 days ago, we had hail and flooding and everything. It was kind of wild. And now it's the kind of like the plague of locusts, only it's desert toads. There are toads everywhere, man. There are just hundreds of squished toads down the road that I live on. We have at least two living in the front yard underneath the entryway. And now we gotta keep a watch. For those of you that don't know, those things are really bad for dogs. So we have to keep a watch out when we take Winnie out in the backyard now on a leash, which she is not a big fan of. But yeah, lots of weather, lots of lightning, wind, dust, all of the things.
All the things. Winnie is such a great dog. I remember meeting her for the first time during our epic trip to WWE Tucson not too long ago, right? About 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And just what a great dog. Like, she was hesitant at first. Like, do I trust this guy? Should I let him pet me? But love Winnie. Love Freya. I hope Freya's doing well.
Yes.
She must love the rain.
Yeah, she really does. She's just not, she's a little squeamish about everything. So it's, there's a bug. And then 3 seconds later, she's holding it. So she gets this idea in her head that this thing is bad without actually knowing what the thing is. To the point where we had to stop her from picking up the toad because she wanted to keep it as a pet. We're like, yeah, it's gonna kill everybody in the house. So we're gonna go ahead and say no.
No, yeah. Let's go back to your fish tank.
Yeah,
that we just got you.
Yeet it in there. Still trying to figure that thing out. It is still foggy and cloudy in there. I think
it's so hard to maintain those.
Yeah, it is.
I told you about my Finding Nemo story. I saw Finding Nemo in the theater.
No.
When it first came out, and then I guess begged and pleaded for my parents to get me a fish tank. So the wonderful people they are, they did. And like within a year, I think all of us just agreed this was a terrible idea. This is not going to work. Algae City. Being a responsible fish parent, if you will, is so difficult.
Yeah, there's so much.
I've never attempted to do it again.
I have a ton of water test strips and different chemical balancing agents, 3 different kinds of food, all this stuff next to a 5-gallon fish tank. 5 gallons. It's for like a fish, and I just have all this shit sitting there to try to keep these things alive. The first one was like DOA. The next couple of fish, one of them died, and then the next one was like getting pummeled by the current. I think the filter or the pump is just up way too high because it's absolutely coming out of there at 100 psi. I swear to God, it's like I could remove paint from the house if I just pointed it at it. But I can't get to it to turn it down. It's suction cup to the bottom. So unless we drain the whole thing and start over, which I don't want to do because like the biofilter's good. And everything is stable. So
unnecessarily complicated, man.
Yeah.
I trust that you'll have better success with it than I did.
This is our second fish tank. Our first fish tank we had was at least a 20-gallon fish tank. And we had a couple of goldfish and a plecostomus. And the one black goldfish kept killing all the other goldfish. I believe we named him Oscar. And there was a plecostomus in there, the algae-eating fish, that those things... We moved. Okay. We left. We were in Arizona. We moved to Wisconsin for 2 years. Those things were 2 years old when we left. Like they refused to die. 18-cent goldfish just refused to die. That thing ruled. We went out of town and we're like, we got the little automatic feeder gimmick that would just drop food in. And it
Sure.
was, we came back and there was just a mountain of food on the edge. It wasn't falling in the tank. That fish was just like, hey, what's up? Still alive.
No way.
Totally fine. Yeah, totally fine. We were like, I thought he would die, and we'd be like, all right, cool. We can dump the fish tank, whatever. We'll try to keep them alive, but if they die, they die. And we came back still kicking. So we donated it to Mountain View High School and the special ed program over there. I have no idea what happened after that. That tank is probably long in the trash, but yeah, dude, like we had really wild success early on in our lives together out in Arizona. And since we've been back, it's been as expected, fish in a desert.
What are you going to do? Right. Yeah.
Oh,
there
Jesus.
you go. That's our sign. That's our sign to move on.
Yes.
Speaking of things that refuse to die, Brad, we'll just go ahead and roll
WWE booking.
Right into our WWE questions. So yeah, this is adjacent to WWE booking. My first question for you, I want to make sure I get the details correct here. Andrew Zarian of the Wrestling Observer reported this past week that Monday Night Raw will be moving back to a TV-14 rating, effective as of July 18th, which, as we record this, is tomorrow, right? So this week's Monday Night Raw will have that new rating. So my question here for you, Brad, to avoid a 4-part question, what was your instant reaction to this news, and what do you think is the best case scenario in terms of the product that could be developed from this? I know that you and I have a lot of nostalgia for the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, but we also look back on it with our 2022 lens and recognize all that was not great about that era, particularly with representation, etc. What was your instant reaction to this news? And are you hopeful? What's the best case scenario for what this could mean to hopefully create a more enticing product for us and our listeners and our viewers to actually begin tuning in?
My instant reaction was elation. I was so excited when I saw it.
Really?
Oh, I was so freaking happy, man. Like the death of the PG era. And then I realized it's not going to change anything. What's going to happen is best case scenario is they just shut it all down. Listen, man, here's what I'm hopeful for. Authenticity. Here's what we're getting. Bad storylines. Here's why I know this. NXT 2.0. Think about what they've tried to do over there, where they've had a more mature kind of programming as an alternate to their own programming. And they've done crossovers and those kinds of things. We know we've seen Braun up at the main roster doing some stuff and then right back down. They did the same thing with Cross, which we know how that ended. But
we do.
The storylines at NXT 2.0 have been like some of them really stupid. But then you have like Toxic Attraction that is just, we are here and we are sexy, the end. And then you have like the weird jacket time thing that thankfully ended.
I was going to say, yeah.
Kushida's in a better place.
And much happier. Yes,
man, much happier. And then we have just sort of this, I don't know. It seems problematic. All of it seems problematic. Everything they're doing over there seems like they're trying to do a callback, like you said, to the Attitude Era. And it's not great to not good. Meanwhile, the work is incredible for the most part. Some of it sucks, but we're getting some of the best wrestling in the world on NXT 2.0. Carmelo, shout out. I just
and Fabian Eichner, who is now something Vinci.
Yes,
like that dude.
Right.
That dude might be my favorite wrestler in all of WWE.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a clip or two this past week. Just
Mm-hmm.
these. I think he had a match with Apollo Crews actually on last week's NXT, and just the feats of, and shout out to Apollo Crews as well, of course.
Yes.
The feats of strength that he can pull off,
like
his finishing, Haas power. I mean, it's just like you said, the quality of work. There are just some absolute dynamite, no pun intended, dynamite wrestlers on that show.
Yeah.
Like you said, Carmelo Hayes, like, period, right?
Yes. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most is that we have all this incredible talent that I think the criticism of AEW is that there isn't enough structure. And the criticism of WWE is maybe there's too much. Some people thrive on that stuff and some people have a little bit more rope. Seth, I think, gets a little bit more leeway, but Seth thrives in that system. The Miz thrives in that system. Like, the Miz is what the Miz is, but the Miz might be the most WWE performer in the history of the WWE. And he's great at what he does, like absolutely stellar at what he does. He fits that perfectly. That's great. Does he have a spot in there? I saw the clip of TV-14 John Cena. I don't know if you saw the retweet of him just absolutely thrashing people verbally.
I did not. No, I missed that.
It's all like dick jokes, all of it. Every single bit of it. And I was like, well, this is okay. Calls Lita a slut. Didn't love that. Little worried that might come back. Little worried about like them just bringing out bitch as an insult again.
Well, and like you said, we've highlighted a lot of men so far, but the new TV-14 news,
that's the problem.
What like you reference, what does that mean particularly for the women's division? Because
I
am not a faithful NXT viewer these days, but I do follow the Twitter results, if you will, and the gifs that are posted. It seems like the women's division in NXT, like you brought up with Toxic Attraction, I think those are three really good to even at times great performers, but like you said, the presentation of the women there has just been, I don't know, man. I'm worried that hopefully we don't get that on Mondays, because I think that would do such a disservice. I think ultimately they'll do right by the men in terms of the in-ring work and giving them time. I just hope that with the women, we don't resort back to a time that we know was not great for the women who were performing.
Well, even Fightful this week reported that women were frustrated about their screen time, specifically on SmackDown, with Charlotte being gone and still not getting screen time. And then Sasha and Naomi really kickstarted them getting more women on screen because they probably realized we don't have anybody.
The women's tag belts. I think Sasha and Naomi's case is looking better and better.
Save that thought for my question. But to wrap up my thought here is I'm scared that they're going to storyline them back in time and put us into a sexist place, a questionable racial place. I don't think that's going to happen. I
don't think so either.
I really don't, because there's too many stakeholders. Exactly. Now that it's a publicly traded company. So
and not to mention Vince McMahon, right? We haven't spent time talking about him yet, but that story has not gone away whatsoever. And how would you feel if you're a woman working for that company? Vince, John Laurinaitis, doesn't seem like an awesome place to be.
Absolutely not. And I guess to answer your question, best case scenario.
Yeah, let's be hopeful. We know they deliver when WWE does it right with their programming.
It's the best in the world.
Cody versus Seth, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
WrestleMania, Bianca versus Becky. We have these moments.
So I said it before, KO versus Steve Austin. When people were criticizing the actual wrestling in the match, it's like, what did you expect? Austin's body is just hanging on by like just metal knee braces and hope.
He took some bumps.
You took a concrete floor bump.
You got to respect it. I did
Hell
not
yes,
see that
you
coming.
do.
Not on my
no, neither did I. But it was the perfect way to do it. It had to be a street fight.
It had, of course.
It would have been awful to watch if it was a wrestling match. Just awful.
Yeah.
So I thought it was perfect for what it was. So when they get booking right, they get it right. And they do it in the big events. They just don't do it consistently throughout.
Yeah,
so their storylines are not very good, building toward a thing, because they often don't know. I saw, I don't remember what account tweeted it out, but Goldberg quoting about the Saudi show where he wrestled The Fiend. Did you see this quote?
So I have like a visceral reaction when I think of that match. You know, I was at the SmackDown leading into that show. I saw The Fiend, I saw Goldberg live, and then we know how the match.
So
I
did
not see
this clip.
I did not.
Goldberg said, "The boss tells me what I got to do. I have a job to do." And I was like, okay, he's just going to say he just did there and went there and did the job, whatever. He said he got on the plane knowing full well he was going to lose to The Fiend. And when he got there right before the match started, it changed.
Wow.
So he was supposed to lose to The Fiend. They decided against it.
That infuriates me even more.
Yes, it does. I was furious after I read it. I was like, damn it.
This instant rage. Like,
yes, 100%.
I'm processing. That's fascinating.
So Tyler, until that kind of thing gets fixed, I hesitate to be even a little bit hopeful because all it's going to do is end up letting me down. And if I set my expectations low, I'll always be happily surprised.
That's a great way to view it. I just want to remind you, Brad, before I hear your question, let this be a reminder that Cody Rhodes not only brought us a historically Black college band to WrestleMania for the first time, but he is also bringing us TV-14 back to Monday Night Raw. Who would have thought? Shout out to Cody. This is all traced back to him. And you're back. I can see you.
Yes, I thought it was you. I'm kind of pissed. I'm not going to lie here.
I don't know how much of that you caught. I was just giving all credit.
I got all of it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to Bianca Belair. I'm sure that was her idea. But also, with any social or entertainment progress, we got to shout out Cody. And the timing is undeniable. I can't wait for him to come back.
So Tyler, I'm checking my speed right now as we talk here because I'm irritated here. I'm getting 730 megabytes a second download and about 30 upload.
And you're frozen again. Xfinity, what is going on? The Xfinity service in Marana, Arizona. This is a problem. I just get to stare at Brad right now. The man looks good, but I don't.
If I drop out again,
You're back.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, we're back. Well, I don't know how long we'll be back, but we're back. I'm going to ask my first question, WWE related question, for the sake of time, and I'll figure out a clever transition later. WWE women's tag belts have been vacant for months now after the shocking departure of Naomi and Sasha. Tyler, you alluded to this earlier. You brought it up. I said save it for the question. Here's the question. What does the WWE do with the women's tag belts going forward?
I hope they come back, Brad. I think they will. I forget the official release, the verbiage that WWE released when the Sasha and Naomi situation happened. But I know they alluded to the belts will be back at some point. Well, I don't know if they said a tournament or what have you, but yeah, man, I think they could do so much with the women's tag division. But the issue is I don't want them to bring the belts back if there are quite literally no women's tag teams established. I think you have so much talent and you could really create a division that could thrive. But currently, it just seems like we have our issues on the men's tag side of things. But the way the women's tag belts have been treated, really since the inception, we were so hopeful for it. And then it seemed like it just died such a quick death, which breaks my heart. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Bad. The crowning moment for the tag division, they had that Hell in a Cell match. It was like a 4-way to decide the inaugural champions. Yeah. So super. That was great, man. So I think the signs are there that they could do this and do it right, and it could be a big deal. So my answer to you is the belts will come back, but I'm gonna say not till late fall, early winter. And I just don't know what the longevity is currently if you don't have any women tag teams established. I do believe when Toxic Attraction comes up, that could be an easy front runner for the belts. But in the meantime, I just have a hard time envisioning what the division looks like, as well as believing that WWE is actually going to invest the time into it. And frankly, Brad, if I can add one more, what I think would be awesome, what I've been yearning for, is to bring back the Evolution pay-per-view. I would love for Evolution to be, I think you might be muted too. You probably know that. But I see you agreeing with me, which I appreciate. Evolution is, I think that could be a perfect annual pay-per-view. I think that would be the platform to re-debut the women's tag titles. But word, correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, word was that pay-per-view, that event was not seen as being a success monetarily.
Yeah,
which breaks my heart because I want Evolution 2. In my dream world, Brad, Evolution 2 is back, let's say this October, and we get the reestablishment of the women's tag belts there.
I guess I don't know what they measure success by. NWA and Power seem to do pretty good. So I just there has to be an avenue now more than ever. I think
Yes.
that was a novel concept then. This is now. But who do you want to see more than anybody else on that event? For me, it's Sasha. For me, it's Sasha and Bailey.
That I know we're touching a lot of ground here. Two thoughts there. One, Sasha, apparently, I think this was first reported by Fightful. Sasha's asking price for signings, $30K. She deserves that and more.
Mhm.
And secondly, did you see the report or the Twitter conversation that Bailey may be in town, maybe in Nashville for SummerSlam?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I
mean, that's happening. You know that's going to happen.
do you think she
been
comes
all
out
healed up.
and challenges Liv or Ronda if Ronda were to get her title back? Agreed.
That makes more sense, I think, than Bianca, since they've already had their program.
Right. I think of SmackDown when I think of Bailey.
Yeah, so do I. God, SmackDown was so good.
Do you
For
remember she was a great champion.
6-month stretch. We had Bailey,
Yes.
Sasha, Daniel Bryan, The Fiend, Peak Roman, Edge, Randy.
Brad, can I just
Drew?
remind you, even though I know you
God.
surely remember, the way that Bailey and Sasha carried the company
Carried
during the early pandemic era.
both shows. carried them.
MVPs.
How do you think Bailey makes her re-debut? Do you think she shows up, music plays? Because I don't think I don't think that'll be it. I think it's ding dong.
Really?
I think she interrupts a promo or something to set up the SummerSlam event. I think that's the
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I hope not, but
Sure.
the only way around that is to, like, how do you get a surprise entrance? Otherwise, it would have to be after a match or something, or an interference during
That's
the
what I
match,
was-
because that's what WWE does.
I
And
was
she's going to get this babyface pop and come
For
back
sure.
heel.
I mean that's probably the $1 million question. One,
They're going to Becky her.
Yeah, right. To answer your original question, my mind was exactly what you just said now, that she debuts after a match, after Liv versus Ronda. Hopefully, I pray Liv retains at SummerSlam and
Yeah,
then
me
Becky
too.
would come out. I'm sorry, then Bailey would come out. But the presentation of her is going to be fascinating because she is going to get a monster babyface reaction,
Yes.
as she should.
Mhm.
But does that make sense in the story of a potential Liv versus Bailey? If it's Ronda, Brad, then Bailey redebuts as a babyface. That makes perfect sense. If it's Liv, maybe you make it work. Babyface versus babyface. Bailey will be getting thunderous cheers. There's no doubt.
Hopefully, she comes out then to the giant car salesman and
the Bailey
yes,
buddies.
the Bailey buddies. Yes,
Yeah, I remember when she stabbed them when she turned heel.
Yes.
So good.
I have that action figure, my friend.
You do?
I
Did
have
you get that from
deflated-
Walgreens?
I think so.
That was a
Yeah,
Walgreens, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, that went into the Freya's College Fund box.
University of Michigan, class of I always make up a new year. Class of
Or
20.
or
30.
the Nightmare Factory entrance fee, depending on how this goes. We'll find out.
It's one or the other. She is clearly going to be at the University of Michigan or the Nightmare Factory. Maybe both. She's a rock star.
I have no idea what that kid's going to do. I can't wait to find out. Right now, it's getting her to count to 20. If she goes to the Nightmare Factory, she only has to count to 3.
Okay. I have nothing to add there. Well said.
Perfect. All right, Tyler. Speaking of perfection, I can't wait for this. I like getting these updates because you do the work that I don't have to do this way, and I still get to find out what happened. It is time for a rose from Tyler. Take it away.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Brad, can't wait for this moment. I've been thinking about it for several days. Whatever we're calling it, a rose from Tyler, the Rose Report. I think a good way to distinguish this is we have a rose from me on the podcast. And then if you go to gimmickinfringementpod.com, you will see the Rose Report, in which I break down the latest from every episode. So it's a weekly recap that will clue you in onto the latest in The Bachelorette. Shout out to you, Brad, for coming up with that title. That was just sitting there for us. The Rose Report. The art you created for it, it's just, again, gimmickinfringementpod.com. Check it out.
Yeah, the Rose Report with Tyler McDowell Blanken, to be specific, because I wanted to avoid any kind of gimmick infringement.
I appreciate you. Brad, so we had episode 1 of season 19, The Bachelorette. As you listeners and viewers may have heard, this season is historic because we have not only 1, but 2 Bachelorettes. We have Rachel, we have Gabby. Both are here to find the loves of their lives. So, Brad, this was a classic debut episode in the sense that we spent a lot of time doing the limousine entrances. I'm sure you remember this from your Bachelorette viewing days. The guys come out, you get their name, their age.
Oh, I've seen this. It's not. Yeah. I'm not a virgin here.
And the the work occupations, half seem like they could be a shoot, half are definitely a work. I want to highlight a few of these men and then give you my overall.
Oh, I can't wait.
So, yeah, in my article, I listed 10 questions and gave you 10 answers. I'll try to make this a little bit unique. I think we have to start with our sole Arizona bachelor. This is Jacob, 27, a mortgage broker, allegedly, from Scottsdale, Arizona. Brad, we briefly spoke about him on last week's episode of GI. He looks like a Alex Hammerstone, younger brother type of deal. And this guy's gimmick, unfortunately, was that he was shirtless for the entire episode. The dude is in phenomenal shape, has not missed a pec day since early 2020, admittedly. But my issue with this is that him literally flexing is great for him, right? He's earned that. But in the article for the website, Brad, I pointed out that, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, no dude who's entered The Bachelorette shirtless, and that's been his gimmick for the first episode, no dude has ever advanced to hometowns and definitely never won the show if that's their gimmick. Terrible idea.
I can't correct you.
You're
because I have no idea.
And I'm only like 2 years into this fandom, but there is no way he is going to advance to the final weeks. No. I wanted to root for him because of his Arizona roots, but it's not going to happen for him. The guy that you and I were really sticking with, Brad, he was rocking the Eric Killmonger hairstyle in his profile photo. Mm-hmm. Nate, 33, from Chicago, electrical engineer, allegedly. He's not really much to speak of. He didn't get a lot of screen time in episode 1, but he didn't get eliminated. I want to point out the only 3 men that were eliminated in this debut episode were the twins, Brad. I think we briefly spoke about that.
That's right, yes.
These 2 dudes, early 20s, twins. They were totally there as a gimmick act.
Yeah, I was like, that's a terrible thing.
Total enhancement talent. They were booted. They had this really awkward, not a date, but they had their beverages and were speaking with Gabby and Rachel. So it was like a double date in a way. And there was no chemistry whatsoever. So those dudes were gone by the end of the episode, as well as a magician, an alleged magician named, I believe, Rory. So Gabby and Rachel did this really gangster approach, respectful approach of pulling these 3 dudes to the side, Rory the magician and the twins. Before the rose ceremony, they pulled them aside and said, hey, it's just, we don't think it's going to happen with you guys. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you, kind of be on your way, kick rocks, essentially. And that was the rose ceremony. So there was not a formal, let's give out our roses. These are the people that are gone. It was, let's bring these 3 dudes away from the group. Tell them there's no chemistry. See you later. Good luck with life. And that was it. I do want to point out, though, we were teased at the end of the episode that a few weeks from now, the men will have to choose whether they are pursuing Rachel or Gabby. So currently, we're kind of in flux. The men are talking with both women, but we know in a future episode, they have to make the decision, and tears will likely be shed from Rachel and Gabby. So the men kind of have some power in this season, at least during one episode. So I'm really eager to see how this plays out. They're on a cruise ship for an unspecified amount of time later in the season, Brad. Absolutely. I don't think a brother is winning this season, unfortunately. But my current top babyface is a dude named, what's this guy's name? Avon, I believe. We didn't talk about him before, Brad. Avon is 28. He's a sales exec from San Diego. Good-looking, light-skinned brother. This guy presented himself really well, man. He shared how much family means to him. He knows how much family means to both Bachelorettes. Avon is my current top babyface. I want to close, Brad. I want to close this Rose segment with who I'm predicting is going to be the top heel this season. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Eric. Spells his name with
not Eric.
Spells his name with an H, a silent H at the end. He's 29. He is allegedly a real estate analyst from Bedminster, New Jersey. My mother is a proud New Jerseyan. She's from New Jersey, whatever the correct word is. I know a little bit about New Jersey. I've never heard of Bedminster. This guy, Brad, I just get bad vibes. He has a mullet, and he was just very
red flag.
That is really the only red flag at the moment. I just got the sense
Erich is part of it. Yeah.
I got my final note. I got the sense when he was talking with Gabby, and Gabby was into him. He didn't get a first impression rose, but she was into him. And Mario actually got Gabby's first impression rose. So nice to see a man of color. Nice to see a brother getting some attention there. And then a dude named Tino got Rachel's first impression rose. So they're early front runners. Tino, yeah, he's like a construction guy from California.
Not a pizza maker.
Not a pizza maker. But there was the meatball sandwich guy stayed. He hasn't been eliminated yet, which is baffling. I'm just gonna say this: Eric has a mullet. I get the vibe that he's there for what this could do for his career, not for Gabby. And this dude, Brad, I just get the sense from all that is Eric that he is definitely a Morgan Wallen fan. That country artist who's absolutely racist.
Yes.
So I'm not a fan of Eric, but I am a fan of Avon, and I will be tuning in to this week's episode 2. I cannot wait, and I hope that you and our listeners and viewers around the globe will join me on this, what promises to be an adventurous, memorable Bachelorette season 19.
All right, that was awesome. Thank you for that. Really, really enjoyed that. More than I thought I would have. Not gonna lie, because usually I'm like, oh God. But always happy to hear. I love hearing how passionate you are about it, and it brings me great joy to hear it. But I have a feeling that the next question will also bring me great joy. Tyler, it's time for your question. Question 2, your AEW centric question.
I think so. Yeah, I'm kind of diverting to my notes here. So, Brad, you probably know where I'm going with this. We have to discuss the main event of Dynamite from this past week. First, I want to talk about me and my reaction. I'll just say that I was completely shook by the conclusion of Dynamite. I thought it was a no-brainer that the Young Bucks were going to retain. Mm-hmm. I just had no doubt about that whatsoever. But it turns out they were absolutely transitional champions here, not to be derogatory, but their reign was incredibly short. The tag team of Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, Swerve in Our Glory, are the new AEW tag team champions, Brad. I thought this match ruled. Yeah. One of my favorite matches of the year. The ending was just... As you know, I was an emotional wreck for all the right reasons. Yeah. So I want to kind of surprise you, I guess, with my question, though. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts on the match and what spots stood out, what spots you yelled for concerning Jess and Freya, perhaps, in the house. So I want to know that. But my main question here is, what is next for Team Taz, specifically the duo of Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks? I ask this for 2 reasons. One, because I think you could easily run Swerve in Our Glory versus Young Bucks at, say, All Out, since Ricky Starks was the person who was pinned. Young Bucks were not pinned. And 2, because, Brad, as much as I love Keith Lee and Swerve, and I thought they killed it in this match, I really think I was most impressed with Ricky and Hobbs. Brad, the what I've referred to now as the Spinebuster Symphony, I'm going to trademark that. I've not heard that from anyone. Of Hobbs just spine-bustering dudes left and right and stacking them on each other. Incredible. I need Ricky Starks to have a main event world title run. That catwalk he does on the top rope. Brad, I just want to say one more thing here before I pass it over to you because I'm just rambling now. The moment that got me was Ricky. This was later in the match. Ricky pinning. I think it was one of the Young Bucks. I forget what happened, but it was a big move. He was pinning him, and you could already see Ricky getting emotional.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm pinning him,
and
I'm already crying tears of joy because we're about to win. And then the pin gets broken up, and you just see the defeat in his eyes. I just think he's a phenomenal professional wrestler.
Yes, he's amazing.
So, thank you. I know we agree on this. So my question, of course, initial impressions on the match, but 2, what do you think is next for this duo, this Team Taz duo? Because I thought that they shown the most in this match.
Okay, so first of all, the super kick after the pose, after they super kicked Keith, like they had to take down the big man. So Ricky and the Bucks teamed up until they didn't. But Ricky doing the pose,
he can't help himself
doing this and like talking to his hand and then just getting obliterated by Matt and Nick. That popped me. The slap off on the top rope to the catwalk was it. I think it was Nick up on top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just slapped each other to a crotch drop. That got me. I always pop for Swerve leaping off of Keith's enormous chest. And then it was we got Keith yeeting a dude across the ring again. It was freaking Hobbs, man.
We did. Do you remember? Do you remember early in the match too with sorry to cut you off, Swerve and one of the Jackson brothers? I forget if it was Nick or Matt.
Oh,
when they had that exchange.
Money. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
This match had a whole bunch of different elements. Again, it felt like a classic Young Bucks match, where it's everybody had these really well executed, well planned moments that sort of built the tension of the match. And then gave us a bunch of false finishes. I love tag team wrestling so much.
Yes.
And AEW.
Shout out to the Bucks. Just always bangers. Always. So good.
Always. They're so good. And the people crap on them because this isn't my wrestling. It's like, all right, well, go watch old wrestling. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to go watch like your best athlete is the Polish Hammer. Like, I have appreciation for that shit, but it's not like I'm going out of my way to be like, well, this is incredible. Wow. It finished on a suplex. That's great. This is entertaining. I just want to be entertained. I don't necessarily need it to make sense and be like the lie that was professional wrestling. I want to be entertained. And this was entertaining as hell, man.
Really was.
But like what you said, I thought the Bucks absolutely showed out. I thought like Swerve and Keith were great, but they were the tertiary tag team in this and they won. Like, Hobbs and Starks, I felt like this was them arriving as a tag team. Even though they've been there, this was probably the biggest spotlight that they've had. Huge. And I thought they were going to win. I just don't want to see them like this. What's next should be not them tagging anymore. I sure do it every once in a while because they're Team Taz, but I don't want them as a tag team. Ricky Starks is the FTW champion, whatever the hell that means. He doesn't defend it more than once a year, it feels like. So do something. Like, have him do something, anything. More Ricky Starks in singles action. More Hobbs in singles action. Hobbs rules. Like, have him come out there, sneer, and then get in a fight with somebody. Like, I want to straight up. Like, give me Hobbs versus Miro. Come on.
He's an absolute homemade star. I think what they've done with him is so
and Starks
unspoken about. And Starks. If we can go back to giving Cody credit, if you remember, Cody's TNT Open title gave us Ricky Starks. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and Eddie Kingston.
Thank you, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and man, there's so many things that I want to see with those guys. That's not just the tag division, but I also understand from a booking standpoint, more tags, the more people on screen. So you get more people on your television set at a time if you do 4-ways and battle royales and tag teams and things like that. So I like the triple threat stuff. I like a fatal 4-way. I like that because that's 4 people we get to see versus 2 people we get to see, which doesn't always work, but I just like it in the sense that we get to see them more often, but I'm ready for them to get their own screen time. And maybe you have one of them wrestle on Dynamite and one of them on Rampage and not on Dark, or put them on Dark for the reps. I don't really know, but I would like to see them go and do single stuff. I'm ready to see them move on from the tag team stuff. How about you?
Yeah, as long as they're on my screen, I'm going to be happy. But
Yeah.
I think you bring up a valid point. As awesome as they've been as a tag team, I think now is the perfect note to pause their tag team run on. They were just part of this banger of a triple or nothing main event on Dynamite, and now they could easily go into their respective. I mean, still together, but in their respective single pushes. Like you said, I would think the first clearest step is to reestablish the FTW title as something. I think for a lot of us, Brad, the long-term vision is Hook takes the belt off Ricky. He claims the belt that is his namesake. But in the meantime, I don't think the FTW title has to be an afterthought. And I think you could do a lot of interesting things with Powerhouse Hobbs because he's just that good. And he has such a unique presentation. I don't think that to me, Hobbs is a one of one. He's not like anyone else on that roster. For the snarl, for the spine buster,
all of it.
I don't think he has to be just the muscle of Team Taz, period. Like, look at what Wardlow did. Wardlow was just the muscle for MJF, and now he's one of the faces of the company and is a champion. I honestly think Hobbs could have a similar trajectory in 2023.
Well, I think about Brian Cage and his look and his athleticism. He was the muscle of Team Taz, and he disappeared for almost a year. And now he's back in a capacity, but he's back in ROH, which has to feel weird. But I don't really know we talked off air about this, but I don't really know what ROH is because it's so intertwined with AEW right now. I'm annoyed. That being said, Hobbs deserves his own spotlight. Starks deserves his own spotlight. I don't care if they do it together, separately, but I'm done with seeing them as a tag team.
Yeah, that frog splash though.
Ooh, the bullfrog splash. Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure I added that. Ooh. Brad, that may have been aside from the finish. That may have been my biggest pop of this whole match. Yeah. Hobbs, I did not know he had that in him. Literally,
I hadn't either.
3/4 away of the ring,
like 16 feet.
And Montez Ford, universally agreed upon, has the best frog splash in the business. But if this is a move that's been added to Hobbs's repertoire, I would not be mad at all. I think Montez Ford won, Hobbs 1A. That was the most incredible move that I saw all night on Wednesday.
And it was it's like 1.5 Montez Fords flying through the sky too.
Yes.
It's just absolutely wild.
I love all of this so much.
Yeah, I just and to close here, I just think of how far Hobbs has come from when we saw him wearing just the overalls as a baby face.
Yeah.
And
losing to Darby Allin on Dark.
Yes, huge guy, not super cut per se. And now he's just like an absolute beast out there. Like, looks incredible. The work is incredible. We saw that this week. Like you said, a damn frog splash from Powerhouse Hobbs. What? Absolutely crazy.
I love this match. I love all of the performers, the wrestlers involved. This was a great way to end Dynamite.
The one thing I'll say about Private Party, going back to this before, I can't remember if we did this on air or not. It just popped in there. Hobbs' presentation, I love it. I love when we get the it's great. You know what's coming, and then the powerhouse. That's so good.
Yeah,
I was mad because we were robbed this week of, oh my god, is that Private Party? I love that, man.
Me too.
Although Andrade's theme is a banger, so it's hard to be upset
and
about it. But
the rope, right? The red rope. And it's awesome.
It's just
Private Party was going to be such a. This is going to sound weird, but they were really, I think, slated to be such a bigger deal when the company first started. But when you bring in more talent, more established names,
and then injuries, and
yeah. But I agree with you. I love their entrance.
Yeah, they need to get out of that faction or any faction. They just need to be on their own. I think it'll be better if they're on their own. Speaking of being in a faction, Tyler, it's time for the state of our faction. It's time for the state of 19 media.
It is time. After you, my dude.
And now it's time for the state of the biz.
What do Intercourse, Blue Ball, and Big Beaver all have in common? Get your mind out of the gutter. This is a family show. Well, this isn't. We are talking about the latest episode of Small Town USA. Join Jess and Carmen as they traverse through small town Pennsylvania.
The Late Night Lake Show crew dropped a new episode with special guest Mike Trudell of Spectrum Sportsnet. Hear the latest on Summer League, new Lakers coach Darvin Ham, free agency, LeBron's contract. Love his new sneakers, by the way. Those pink joints are fire.
Yeah, I really like those.
So good. Hopefully they're not $200. And much, much more.
19 co-founder Mo is back with a new episode of Hidden Gems Golf. Tap in and hear his thoughts on golf's big event in Scotland, the Open Championship. I was going to go Scottish there. I decided to back off. I got scared.
Shout out to Drew McIntyre. Speaking of 19 co-founders, Brad, dope interviews with Warren Shaw has returned. Actress Hannah Hall of Showtime series The Chi joined Warren on the latest episode to discuss her career and experience working on the show. Check it out. You won't regret it.
It's a big summer for the Orlando Magic and its fan base. So the latest episode of Close Up Magic, superfans Steven and Malik discuss the latest chatter around the franchise and its promising roster in a special 5 Burning Questions episode.
And finally, shout out to Mike Steph, former GI guest and fellow podcaster. You know the deal. Check out his show, The Salty Thoughts of Donnie Ooh, for detailed, passionate commentary on the latest news in sports, pro wrestling, and New York politics. And shout out to him and his beautiful family. I think his last 2 episodes, Brad, he's had on both of his daughters, respectively. One was a Money in the Bank reaction episode, and this most recent one was titled Family Ties, in which he and his daughter just chopped it up for an hour about life. So we love Mike Steph here, and definitely recommend you give his work a listen.
Yeah, Tyler, as you're talking here, I wanted to add it. I'm trying to find it. I am absolutely filibustering right now. I can't remember the name of the show, but be on the lookout. Check the 19 Media social media pages and Jabari Davis's page as members of 19 Media and Jabari Davis, former 19 member and co-founder, teamed up to produce some special content about HBO's The Wire. That was in at least 2 parts. I'm not sure if it was part 1, part 2, and more, but that should be out now. You can check that out. I don't think it's on YouTube, but I know it is in audio, so get it where you find podcasts. 19 Media, and check out social. You'll be able to find the links.
Yeah, great call. We love Jabari, and congrats, JD, on this new project.
Tyler, it's time for question 2. For me, it's my AEW question, and I already kind of alluded to it. Penta and Phoenix have lost their masks at least 3, maybe 4 times in the last few years in AEW as a means to cost them a match. The Bucks did it, Roosh did it, Andrade did it, and I think Phoenix did it to Penta in 2019 or 20, as previously stated on this very here pod. What is the solution in fixing this nonsense?
Don't do it anymore. How about you? I'm kidding. Don't silence.
Straight up. Yeah,
please come up with a more creative way. That's all I got.
How do you stop it from happening again? I guess that's the better question. So what I was thinking here is like, why has TK allowed it to happen?
That is the perplexing question, because it would be one thing if this were a distraction finish or like a disqualification finish. We don't want Phoenix nor Penta to get a loss on their record, but clearly they're taking the pin, right? The mask gets torn off and then 1, 2, 3 roll up. I think we have to be more creative on how to do this, Brad. Clearly, neither of the Lucha brothers are immune to losing, right? To getting the L's on their record, which is something we like about AEW, is that, hey, one person wins, one person loses. That's how it goes. Brad, I think this is simple. Just come up with more creative finishes. I don't know why this has been a consistent trope in the booking of the Lucha Brothers. What say you?
It's weird. It's really weird, man.
It's their kryptonite.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add here, man.
It's frustrating though.
Yes.
The best worker in the world, Ray Phoenix, take his mask off. Okay, let me schoolboy him, and I got the win.
It's so weird if they could institute fines for other things that Tony Khan doesn't just simply go like if you remove a mask, it's a fine in this match or this match in particular, or this match up, or if it's just some, I don't know, just some other gimmick. I don't really know what they could do here, but it's just it's stupid. It needs to stop. I'm sick of seeing it. Like I was hoping this week, because they were trying really hard in the match to take the mask off. They're really leaning into it. I thought it would be amazing if they took the mask off to reveal another mask. I thought that would have been so funny. And it's like metal chained underneath or something. That would have been amazing.
That I'm here for that.
Like that needs to be a thing that happens at some point. But yeah, God, I hated this. I just find a better reason to have a match. That's it. I guess like the stupid finish, and then, or have the mask come off and then like Penta gets his mask ripped off and accidentally runs into him and knocks him out. They both butt heads, get knocked out simultaneously. Penta falls on his opponent and accidentally pins him. I think that would be amazing. Like
all of these sound better than what we've been getting.
Yeah, I'm just over it. Tyler, what I'm not over is being thankful. It's time for us to share a moment of gratitude.
And now it's time for a little self-reflection. So, think about yourselves. Or something.
Brad, shout out to you and these transitions today. My God, pal. They've been just smooth as butter.
A lot of time to think during the internet outages.
Yeah. Thank you, Xfinity. Thank you for nothing.
Yeah,
so, Brad, before our recording here, you and I were discussing the flow of the episode and kind of near to close the show, we were looking at either gratitude and or what we're most looking forward to for this upcoming week, wrestling or otherwise. And I'm going to try to blend the two for you in my response. Brad, my friend, my co-host, it is a big week. I am grateful, most grateful, for patience and for Jordan Peele. Peele's latest film, Nope, is out this week. The tickets have been purchased for Thursday night at 7:10 p.m. at Harkins.
Amazing.
And I just, this date's been on my calendar for a while. I am just euphoric that it's finally here. I cannot wait. Brad, as one of my best friends and longtime supporters of GI, know that I'm a huge Jordan Peele fan. So I am just grateful for this man's latest creation, for art, for sci-fi, for suspense. I cannot wait, Brad. As much as I love wrestling, and I love it a ton, I also love me some Jordan Peele. Thursday is the night. Let's go. What are you most grateful for?
Man, family. I've gotten to spend so much time with Jess's brother is in town. Shout out to Brett, who just concluded his residency and has been hired on at the family practice that he was doing his residency in. And he's going to be staying there for several years in Houston. And things are looking great for him. He's here for 2 weeks. His 2 weeks are up. He leaves on Tuesday, which I'm bummed about. But I'm so glad we got this time. Tyler, I told you the other day, a couple of days ago now, we went on an epic taco run. We went to 5 different taco stands.
We got to talk about this.
Good Lord, man. It was amazing. But I hadn't eaten all day. So I came home like, I'm so hungry. I got to pack some food in. So I left going, I'm a little bit full here. I'll be all right. I was not. So the problem was that Freya wasn't going to be eating any tacos. She's the pickiest eater in the freaking world. So we stopped at Sonic to get her a plain hot dog.
Plain hot dog, you say?
Bun meat, the end. And
Freya, okay.
Tyler, the bun was a big step this summer. So
wow, no condiments.
She used to mow down everything, and then she got a little older, and she's like, sauce, get it the hell out of my face. No sauce on anything. Dry, no seasoning, no. Like if a pizza comes out and they put like oregano or anything on top, she's like, I'm not eating that. I don't want leaves. That's what she says. I don't want any leaves on my pizza. But she'll eat lettuce. She'll eat lettuce. Like
but no oregano.
No oregano.
No asparagus here.
No, she's the whitest of whites. It's disheartening a little bit. So we went and got tacos, and the first place we went was Street Tacos over in Oro Valley. Amazing. And then we hit up a new place on Ina. It was like I stuck a delicious taco into a can of Morton salt and then just started eating it. It was the saltiest thing I've ever had in my entire life. It was like the sea. The flavors were all good, but it was so damn salty I didn't enjoy it at all. It was awful. So, like I literally threw part of it away.
Wow.
Yeah, it was not the taco of the night. And it looked like they knew what they were doing. Everything looked great. The restaurant inside looked great.
The presentation,
so salty. Absolutely disappointing. The next one we hit up is, I can't even remember. I think it was El Nene. And yes, it was.
No, I used to live around there. Shout out to the Flowing Wells community. Yes,
absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
I absolutely got the cabeza. I love beef cheek. I love it.
I miss that place so much. You're making me hungry now. My mouth is watering, Brad.
So good. And then I don't remember what we hit up after that. It was we went to BK's after that.
Of course.
Very good. Very good. Not in keeping with the first one and the third one.
You went to the Grant location of BK's.
Yes.
Presumably.
Yes, we were trying to go in order.
Grant. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the next one was Rustico, but it was closed. Sorry to shut down. But we went late. This was like 9:00 by the time we got there. So, and then the last one was Juanita's, and that was amazing. I sent you the picture of the luchadors on the wall, and
I made that my new cover photo.
It's
not asking permission whatsoever. I just told you
it's amazing, right?
This is my incredible new cover photo on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's incredible. Yeah, it was a great shot. I was like, this is beautiful.
I'm a sucker for anything luchador.
And accidentally snagged this poor woman mid yawn, which is one of the funniest visuals I've ever captured on my phone.
Gold.
That place ruled as well, and we were trying to figure out which place we liked the most. And I got to tell you, I think those all three. BK, I want to go back because I want a snoring dog, but the salty place, no, not feeling it. BK probably wouldn't go down my way for the tacos. The other three are all kind of a toss up, but I'm gonna go Street Tacos because I liked the corn tortilla better. It was softer. It was amazing. All three of those places, I'd go out of my way for. This is Tyler. This is like going, which match of the night did you think was the best in WrestleMania Night 1? When it came down to those three places, because they were all bangers. I just like, the other thing is that the other one's probably just a little closer. So there is that. But man, such a fun night. I am so grateful that I get to do that. Not everybody can afford to just go F around and go to taco stands. So this was great. Such a great week. So thankful for family. So thankful for you. This is just so thankful that I get to do this and that my internet held out the rest of the way, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah. Amen. Let it be known, I am grateful for my family as well. Great note, always mentioning family. You can't go wrong. And yeah, man, this topic run, I didn't know it was in the works unless you told me and I completely spaced on it. But I'm glad that you all had such a great time. Love tacos. And
we didn't know. Jess and I have talked about this forever, about doing this. We just never had. And she was like, hey, why don't we go do this? And then yesterday we went to, as I nail my microphone, yesterday we went to Rocco's. And
yes, you did.
Yeah, it was,
favorite pizza joint.
It has been an epic food week. Or last couple of days been epic. Yeah,
I love it. Shout out to spontaneous plans. Often the best ones.
Yes, absolutely.
Brad, we have a big pay-per-view on the horizon. ROH's Death Before Dishonor. Now, you and I, to be quite truthful, you and I looked up the pay-per-view because we love wrestling.
Yeah.
And we saw the price tag for this one. It is $39 prior to tax. Yes. So I'm not sure you and I are committing to paying and watching it.
No.
But certainly we are excited. There's been a really unique build for this. I think this is the first fully built ROH pay-per-view under the AEW umbrella. There's been a lot of crossover on AEW programming. A lot of ROH talent has been seen, which I know you have separate thoughts on, which I hope to hear on air at some point. But I want to take a look at this card to close this episode and
Awesome,
get your
let's
predictions. Sweet. So let's start with the Women's World Championship match. We have Serena Deeb, the professor of professional wrestling, facing off against the champion Mercedes Martinez. Who you got?
I think Mercedes drops this one.
Really?
I really hope she doesn't, but I think it would be really cool. I don't know if Serena Deeb's ever won it, so I feel like that might be a notch on her belt, so to speak. So I'm going to take Serena.
I love the confidence. I completely agree with you. I think this is Serena's to win. Serena has lost a lot of big matches lately in AEW. You remember when she had the 5-minute challenge where she was just defeating a lot of local talent. I think this could be a huge win for her. And frankly, I think it would just be great to see her with gold around her waist, considering the epic run she's had in AEW. I think that this is her ROH title to win.
Yeah, she came in hot with the NWA strap, but
yes,
I would love to see the ROH strap on her.
Completely agree. This next one, Brad, if there was any match to convince us to change our mind and buy the pay-per-view, I know for you, this might be it. We have
3 falls.
We have FTR defending their ROH World Tag Team Championship against the Briscoe brothers. Like you just said, 2 out of 3 falls. Do the top guys walk out of Massachusetts still champions?
Yes.
I agree.
You know what I want?
So?
No,
that's what you want.
It's what I want. Well, actually, no, it's not what I want. What I want is them to drop it, even though I love FTR, because it's a way for the Briscoes to be in AEW. They're not right now. I think I don't know if they're signed to Impact or if they were just doing a limited partnership with them or what they're doing.
Right.
So if Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe, the Briscoes, win the straps, they are now under the AEW umbrella and are part of ROH. They might be signed after that. Dude. Okay, so imagine this, if you will, for a moment. We get Bucks versus Swerve and Keith, right? We get Swerve and a Glory versus the Bucks at All Out. Or before that. Let's just say before that, maybe in a week or two. And they drop it, they break up, they fight, and then we get Keith versus Swerve at All Out. Which I would totally be here for. The Bucks regain the championship. Everybody's pissed because they get it back. And we get a 3-way between the Bucks, FTR, and the Briscoes at All Out. Tell me you don't want this. And it's winner takes all, ROH, AEW, IWGP.
My initial reaction, part of me thinks, my God, I've seen more 3-way tag matches this year than I have my entire 20 plus years watching wrestling.
Give them to me all the time.
I was going to say, but if they continue being this good, I would absolutely love it.
So I feel like I want the Briscoes to win so that can happen down the line where you have ROH champion Briscoes, AEW champion Bucks, FTR is the IWGP champions, winner take all. That's the All Out championship match. I mean, holy hell.
It's promising. Yeah.
My God. I'm excited just thinking about it. It's not even going to happen probably. My God, give that to me.
I could see how giddy you are. So to set the record straight, your official prediction.
FTR.
Briscoe. Yeah. FTR.
My official prediction is FTR.
All that being said. Okay.
Yeah, all of that stuff is what I want to have happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
I got you. Man, this is tough. Admittedly, I'm not as familiar with the work of the Briscoes as others. I'm going to agree with you on this one, Brad. I wanted to be kind of a contrarian and go Briscoes just to make it interesting, but I really think FTR are just in the conversation for performers of the year. I mean, we gush about them often as they deserve. I want to see them still on this belt collectors run. So I'm going to agree with you. I think Cash and Dax walk out still champions. This next match, Brad, very likely to steal the show.
Yes.
100%. A pure wrestling rules match for, conveniently, the ROH Pure Championship. Daniel Garcia is taking on champion Wheeler Yuta. Oh boy, this is going to rule. Who walks out with the gold, Brad?
I'm picking Garcia for this one. Yuta and Garcia have wrestled each other like a million times. They wrestled each other all the time on the indies. If you listen to Garcia talking, I think it was on the Talk is Jericho interview, he talked about how much he wrestled Yuta on the indies before Yuta got brought into AEW, when NXT was like, I think we're going to pass, or whatever happened there, or we'll call you later, pal, is probably what it was. But I think Garcia needs gold. I think he's earned gold. I don't think Yuta has gold, but I think there's both of those dudes are going to be getting titles for years to come. They are the future of professional wrestling in AEW. So I wouldn't be mad if Yuta retained, but I think Garcia could do with some TV gold. What do you think?
Yeah, I love both of these guys, and like you said, the future is so bright. The present and the future is so bright for both of them. I like Garcia here as well. We did not discuss these before our recording, but we are of a similar mind. Yeah, Garcia wins. I think this would be big for him. He's had some, I mean, similar to Serena Deeb, I guess, in a way. He's had some big moments on AEW TV. I mean, I can't count the amount of times he's faced Jon Moxley, and he's been in main events of Rampage, but I think Garcia is due for a big win. I think this is that win for him. I think he walks out as new ROH Pure Champion.
For those of you that are unfamiliar with pure rules, I had to look them up because I couldn't remember what they were. It's 3 rope breaks each. After the rope breaks are up, they're disqualified. If they use closed fists, if they punch, it counts as 1 rope break. So if they break ropes because they're in a submission and they get their first rope break, the next one is a disqualification if they go to another one. But if they're being submitted and they go for a rope break and they're out, or they have no more left to give, they simply won't break the ropes, so they can be tapped out. There's no way to get out of a submission at that point. So I can't wait for this.
I was going to say, Brad, the more you talk, the more I think you're convincing me to get this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm going to pirate the hell out of this thing.
We have 2 more matches on the card. Thanks for that background, my man. I actually, frankly, did not know that. That is even that more enticing.
Yes.
Final 2 matches. The returning ROH World Television Champion, Samoa Joe. We have not seen him in a minute.
It's been like a month and a half.
This has been a really well-built rivalry, though.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is defending his title against Jay Lethal with Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh very likely at ringside. What are your thoughts heading into this one, Brad?
I don't know. I don't care. Like,
2 ROH legends, right?
Yes. We're looking at the Wikipedia listing right now. If you could take the things in parentheses and throw them away, then I would be really excited about this match. I want to see Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal. I don't want to see Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh. And I know what they're trying to do there. I love Sanjay Dutt as a manager. It's just the Satnam Singh there is just like broadcasting. He's going to cost the match. And Jay Lethal's going to end up with the title, which honestly, I'm fine with. I'd like to see Samoa Joe without it and go do other things, or anything at all, as it were, because he was out filming during this time. So that's really cool for Samoa Joe. But he's been champion for a while, and we haven't seen him do anything with it. So AEW has a problem, and ROH has a problem with having their champions just not defend titles, just holding the belts forever. Again, Ricky Starks is FTW champion. What does that mean? He doesn't defend it. So it would be really good to see that. These 2 together are what I want to see. But I feel like it's going to be more interference costing the match, unless we get somebody running in to help Samoa Joe. And I don't know who that would be. Maybe we get the Fallen Angel. Maybe we get something else, because we know we're getting that this week. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, this seems like the show where we would definitely get a surprise or 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Samoa Joe retaining here. I think this match is going to be probably better than a lot of us are anticipating. I really hope, like you said, we don't get that classic, the big man is going to interfere.
Yeah.
I think this match is going to be very good, and I think Samoa Joe retains.
You know what could be really cool? As Samoa Joe saying there's a giant out here, so I brought some backup, and Paul White comes out with him.
Yeah,
that would freaking rule.
There you
go. Side note, in case you didn't see, I think you did, that the trademark has been given and lifted. Copyright has been overseen and granted. There are I believe uniforms in the works, video packaging in the works. Paul White as Captain Insano is going to happen
did
in
not see
AEW.
that.
Yes. They reached out to writers. Tony Khan has gotten
Oh man, how
permission.
did I miss that?
We are getting a Captain Insano at some point,
Amazing.
which is so insane. Hopefully they can get Sandler to come in as Waterboy, some Bobby Boucher, maybe a Louisiana show.
Well said. That's hilarious. Brad, the main event of ROH Death Before Dishonor, we have this match was very recently announced as of Rampage. Jonathan Gresham is defending his ROH World Championship against Claudio Castagnoli. This match should also rule. Again, this is all matches on the card are for belts. I think every match is going to rule in their own way. Does Jonathan Gresham retain?
He has to.
I think so.
I mean, he has. I love me some Claudio. I'd love to see him with gold. Not this quickly. Feels so unearned. Gresham's been a champion forever, and he just joined Tully Blanchard Enterprises.
Exactly.
Set up the Tully Blanchard Enterprises feud with Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes.
Cool. I'm in.
Yes.
Because those guys rule. There's 3 and then Gresham.
Right.
And then Tully.
Right. It's the Gates of Agony tag team, Brian Cage and
so Gresham. You have 4 over there, right? And Tully. You got 4 in Blackpool Combat Club and Regal.
Oh,
like give me Tully and Regal lined up, yelling at each other, slapping each other or something. Like it would be amazing. So I could totally see it. But again, the problem with what is ROH if you're going to be in AEW all the time?
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I agree. Gresham retains, and I look forward to discussing the results with you on the next episode of GI. Exciting Brad, stuff. Any final notes here as we close?
Nope. Just that we went long. That's it.
Well, we shall not go any longer. If you stayed with us this long, as always, thank you so much. Whether you're listening, whether you're watching, we appreciate you immensely. Do yourself a favor and follow Brad on Twitter. He is at Winduster. You can also follow me at Tyler J. McDowell. You can follow us at GIPod19. At 19M Group on Twitter. Shout out to our fellow creators at 19 Media Group. Please check out their work. They are doing just great things in the sports realm and the entertainment realm. We got quite the roster, and we think you'll enjoy their work. Brad, I had a blast, and I will see you on the next episode of Gimmick Infringement.
Likewise.
Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.